We're about to get 4 days of snow. I was running the plow truck up and down the road, trying to really clean it up, get as wide as I possibly could, and this happened. I almost wonder if we could get around it. I think we better. Stop. Now I'm on my way to get cedar, get my truck, hopefully winch it up the hill without letting it slide down. On that particular corner, I nearly tipped the backhoe over. The old plow truck, I got stuck right there. Dump truck rolled over right there. There's probably been 7 or 8 accidents. It's super narrow and I tried to go too wide. Now I got to get the truck unstuck. The plow truck is down the S curve again.
Thank goodness you weren't in it.
I was in it.
How'd you get out?
It's on the edge. I think it's okay, but let's go try and winch it out. I need you to drive the Dodge, and hopefully this doesn't go from bad to worse. Let's go.
You sure you want your Dodge and not my Toyota?
Yeah, your Toyota's not getting this one done. Sorry. Got everything.
This kind of stuff is so stressful. I don't like this.
What's stressful? You're gonna run.
Too close to the
You're gonna run the winch.
I've never ran a winch in my life.
I've been running a winch for 21 years.
I've been a winch maybe, but maybe never ran one before. How far?
It's right at the corner of the S curve. Stay to the left, right up in the. I don't know how this is gonna go. I almost wonder.
I think he was waiting in there.
I almost wonder if we could get around it. I think we better.
Do you want to drive it around?
Stop. Stop. Even if the truck keeps sliding, I'll yell at you. It won't roll over. Thank you.
Go through that again.
Bye.
It's scary.
Love you. The next two major things on our list is to get both the downstairs and the upstairs bathtub surrounds completely finished. We have decided that a large subway tile will go perfect with everything else in the house. Hurry.
Would you rather eat a baby goat or a madder baby?
Or a what?
A madder baby or a baby goat?
A matter? Baby. What's a matter, baby? You're so funny, though.
I'm crying.
What's the matter, baby? Nearly 5 years ago was the first time I ever laid my eyes on our property up here at Red Poppy Ranch. We were renting a house in town at the time, and I would find myself driving around trying to find that piece of property that was calling my name the loudest. After realizing that I needed a well-built four-wheel drive truck to get me to some of these remote pieces of land, I picked up a mid-80s square body Chevy. It had a 4-inch lift on it, and I put a good-sized set of BFG all-terrain tires on it, thinking those tires would be more than sufficient to get me anywhere I would need to go around town. At least once a week, I would find myself driving up to this area, just trying to wrap my head around the challenges that would be associated with trying to live up here. There was still snow on the ground, and because the road was not being maintained by anybody at that time, it was naturally quite difficult to get up. One particular day, I grabbed my youngest son, Reed, we dressed accordingly, and decided we were going to drive as far up the road as we possibly could, looking at the different lots available. In the process of doing this, I got that Chevy truck stuck for about 4 hours. Reed had no idea what was going on. Frankly, he was loving every minute of it. We had snacks, we had water. I always kept my propane torch in the truck so I could get a fire started and keep warm if needed. But I had no cell phone reception, and I was quite concerned that I wasn't going to be able to get the truck out by myself. I always kept a shovel, chains, and a come-along in my truck, but on that particular day, I learned the hard way that there's got to be a better way to do this. The end result was that we got unstuck, we made it back to town, but I decided right then and there that if we were going to own land in that particular area, I had to have a truck that was built for the worst case scenarios. We first built that old red Ford truck, and we used and abused that Ford truck, and it always did what it had to do. Not that long ago, we built the Dodge truck to handle the same abuse and expectations. One of the most important tools that I put on both of those trucks was the winch mounted on the front bumper. This particular week, I've used the winch on the front of the Dodge truck more than I've used a winch any other time in my life. First, getting the snow plow unstuck 2 different times, then pulling someone out that was quite severely stuck down in a snowbank that was driving way too fast on the road. They nearly rolled their truck as well, but anchoring my truck off to a tree and using my worn Xeon winch, we worked for about 45 minutes and pulled their truck out. Then as these snowstorms settled into town, and as I drove around, I had the opportunity to use it again and again and again, just simply pulling people out of bar ditches and getting cars back on the road. With all the different challenges that we've experienced living up here, the one thing that we don't ever want to have happen is to be put in a situation where we don't have the tools to handle the challenges. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but for me to sit around and complain about situations that I've created is not okay. I simply have to put the time and effort into it to ensure that we're prepared for just about every scenario that we're put into. When I first had our backhoe, that helped tremendously, but there's only so much I could do with the backhoe on our hillside ranch. After getting the excavator, that seemed to take things to the next level. For the last few months, we've been looking for just the right piece of equipment, more than likely going to be another mini excavator that will pick up where the other one left off and continue to be the tool that's necessary to do the things that we need to do around our place. While in my head I was certain that I could finish both the upstairs and the downstairs bathtub surrounds this week, between all the challenges that came from the snow and getting a little bit too low with our firewood reserves, I had to stop working on the subway tile and get a few things straightened out before we get any more snow, because it's coming. We've got another 6 days of snow on the schedule. I put chains on all 4 wheels on the red plow truck, and even though the tires that are on that plow truck are not very good, those chains allow it to go basically anywhere that it needs to go. The tires that I have on the Dodge truck is the 3rd type of tire that I've used, and they are by far the best tires to deal with the snow, the mud, and still drive comfortably down the highway. But I couldn't get the Dodge up the hill with as much fresh snow as we had without chains. So I unhooked the trailer, hooked the plow truck up to it, and very quickly was able to get up the hill. I am headed over to that pallet plant where I got a load of firewood about, what was it, a month ago probably? And we already burned up all that firewood, which is kind of what happens when you have little firewood like that. It burns really hot, but it doesn't last very long. And we're in the middle of like a 6-day snowstorm, and I've been trying all week to get a trailer load, and they just haven't been making pallets. So they finally called last night and said my trailer was plumb full. But it's snowing like crazy, and it's cold weather snow. I mean, a lot of times snowstorms come in and it'll hover right around 28, 30 degrees while it's snowing. It's probably 11 degrees right now, and when it gets real cold like that, it's just a different kind of snow. It's a whole different kind of snow. It's a whole different kind of snowstorm, and it looks like we've got like 6 days. I've been getting messages and emails from people all over the place asking me if we're okay, and we're getting a little bit low on the firewood reserves. I don't want to. We have probably 2 cords sitting over against the house foundation, but I don't want to use that firewood if we don't have to. I'm kind of using that as our last resort. So I should be plowing the road right now is what I should be doing, but I got to go get this this trailer load of firewood and see if I can even get it up to our place. Now, this wood that we get from the pallet plant is all kiln dried wood. It's not the best firewood, and I hope and pray that next year I never have to go over and buy it. But beggars can't be choosers. The price is right, it burns incredibly hot, and they have a lot of it. As soon as the snow melts, as soon as the mud goes away, we will begin the preparation of piling up dozens of cords of maple hardwood so it can be drying, waiting for the next snowfall to come. Okay, I'm almost back to the ranch. The last little challenge I'm gonna have is seeing whether or not I can get up the hill to the house with this load behind us, because there's probably another 3 or 4 inches of fresh snow that I should be plowing. So, see if I can get up the hill. Truck up to it and see if it'll get it up the hill. This isn't good. We've resolved the minor issues we had with our solar system. I have the ability to pump water from our well to our storage tank, regardless of the weather, but there is still, without question, more challenges. What are you doing, Mutt? What are you doing? The red plow truck is more than doing its job, but the snow banks on both sides of the roads are getting deep. I have to keep the road clean enough and wide enough that 2 cars can pass, kids can get to school, Cedar can get to town when she feels she needs to get there. And we can safely live up here at Red Poppy Ranch. Tell me when to stop. Next week, you will see the conclusion of the bathtub surround in subway tile. And if all goes well, you'll see my traditional sauna that was built almost completely out of pallet boards.